Today I'm going to teach you how to set up a tent, but there's 3 things you should do before you get to your campsite. One is you need to reserve a campsite on our website at ncparks.gov. And 2, you need to make sure you have all the materials to your tent. And the 3rd is you should practice, because you don't want to arrive at your campsite in a thunderstorm and get all wet. Let's make sure we have everything we need in our tent. Here's our bag. We've got our tent poles, our rain fly, the body of the tent, stakes, and our ground tarp. Now, not every tent comes with a ground tarp or a footprint, so make sure you buy one if it doesn't come with it. And that's everything. So every tent is different, but they all have the same basic steps. First step is to get your ground tarp and lay it out with the shiny side facing up. The second step is to lay the body of your tent on top of the ground tarp. When you lay your tent out, if you want your door in a certain direction, make sure you place it in that way. So you can see that there's a door on this side and there's a door on the opposite side. Some tents will have colored tabs that correspond to the ground tarp. So that ensures that you match it to the right side. The third step is to assemble your tent poles. Most of them easily fit into one another. All right, your next step is to attach the poles to the body of your tent. Now, some tents don't have what this tent has, which is a sheath that I'll be pushing the poles through. Some have clips, so yours might be different from this. Next, you're gonna take your tent pole and put it into this little circle here. It's called a grommet. So don't be afraid, your tent pole isn't gonna break, though it may feel like it's gonna break. So some tents will have additional poles that will help expand your tent, but your tent may not have it. I'm gonna show you real quick. Just fit it into the grommet and into the other grommet. So now we're gonna put the rain fly on top of the tent. I told you that some tents will have a tab that corresponds to the body of the tent. So I'm gonna make sure this red tab goes to this red tab. And that makes sure the door matches up with this door. Now we're gonna put the grommet of the rain fly underneath the tent pole. We're gonna fit it in there on each side. We're not gonna tighten the rain fly just yet. We're gonna wait until it's staked. Now we're gonna stake our tent, and this makes sure that when you're moving around in your tent isn't moving with you, or if there's a lot of wind, your tent isn't blowing away. So I'm gonna start in the corners. All right, you're gonna put your stake through both loops of the body of the tent and the rain fly, and you're gonna put the stake in at a 45-degree angle. Now sometimes it can be hard to push in, so you may need to grab a mallet. You can also use your foot. And I'm gonna go on the opposite side to make sure it's really tight. After you do the corners, you wanna do the sides of the tent and make sure that your door is closed. So this tent has 2 tabs, and then there's some on the side of your tent. This just makes sure when it rains that the rain goes off of the tent and not inside your tent. The last step is to tighten your rain fly. Your tent may not have this, but most of the new tents do. I'm gonna pull up on this tab to cinch the tent to make it tighter on all corners. The gap between the rain fly and your tent is called the vestibule, and this is a great place to store your dirty shoes but keep them dry. Most tents have a way for you to keep your door open by just simply rolling it all the way to this loop here, and you just fit this piece into the loop. You can also roll your tent at the bottom here, and that's your tent.